If you think the season's basically over, it's not. Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 of the best things that can be planted in August, plus a couple of bonus summer foods. But more importantly, I'm going to show you how I decide what's actually worth planting, because I don't try to grow everything anymore, and I don't think you need to either. I'm in Zone 8A in upstate South Carolina, so I'm right in the middle of summer heat right now. My first frost date falls around late October to mid-November, and I'll show you how to figure out what to plant where you live, because what's worth planting depends on your timing and what you actually want to harvest. First, if I could only plant one thing this month, it would probably be leafy greens. They're quick to harvest, you can pick from them over and over again, and they give you fresh food on the table sooner than almost anything else we'll talk about today. You can begin harvesting baby greens in as little as 25 to 30 days using the cut and come again method, where you just trim an inch or two above the soil and then the plant actually grows back a few more times for more harvesting. I want to mention radishes here too, because if you're about 6 weeks out from your first frost right now, you can plant a small batch and then plant another one about a week later and keep that going for about a month. So instead of one big harvest all at once, you've got fresh radishes coming up in waves. And I love doing it this way because instead of harvesting 20 radishes at once, I can walk outside and pick a few whenever I want them. Where I live, I plant my radishes usually towards the end of August. Planting cool season things like lettuce does take a bit more thought right now, because with heat still hanging around for the next couple of months, at least in my location, lettuce wants to bolt, which means it rushes towards producing seeds instead of growing tender leaves for us to eat, and then the flavor turns bitter when that happens. But I've had really good luck with slow bolt varieties, and the real trick for me this summer has been keeping the soil cooler and giving it some afternoon shade. And this is exactly why I have mine growing in my green stalk on my north-facing patio right now. And between the shade it gets there and the slow bolt variety of lettuces that I'm growing, it's been a nice surprise that the lettuce hasn't turned bitter. If you're working with containers, you can moving things into a spot that gets afternoon shade for these next few weeks of heat can make a real difference. It's one of those little decisions that doesn't take much extra effort, but it can completely change your results. So one thing that can be really tricky in August is getting these cool season seeds to actually sprout at all, because the top layer of soil dries out so fast and it heats up so fast that the seeds give up before they even get started. The trick that I've used for years is laying a piece of cardboard or a board right over the spot where I've planted, which keeps that top layer of soil cooler and holds the moisture in until the seeds germinate. So you just check under it every couple of days, and then once you see the sprouts, you pull off the covering so that they can get the sunlight they need. It's such a small thing, but it's made the difference between seeds that don't sprout and seeds that actually do. Really quick, I want to tell you about something that I've been working on that I'm really excited about. In just a few days, I'll be opening enrollment for my 6-week fall garden coaching program, where I'll personally help you figure out exactly what to plant, when to plant it, how to get it planted with confidence, and what to do each week so that you can be eating fresh food from your own garden this fall. Fall is my favorite time of year to harvest lots of amazing fresh food from my garden, and I'd love to help you experience that too. Cooler weather makes that food taste even sweeter. So because the fall planting window doesn't wait, I'm only opening 5 spots, and that way I can work one-on-one with each gardener and help them make the most of this fall growing season. So if that sounds like something you'd love to do this fall, the link is in the description and I'll put it on the screen here too. All right, let's get back to the video. The second thing I want to talk about is root veggies like carrots and beets, and whether they're going to work for you right now depends on how much time you have before your first frost. This is one of my favorite parts of the fall garden, because flavor of root veggies like carrots and beets gets so much better when they're exposed to colder temperatures. Here in Zone 8A, I plant mine by about mid-August every year to make sure that they have enough time to mature before the daylight hours reduce drastically and before freezing temps happen, so that I can get a harvest. So just do a quick search to find your average first frost date using your zip code, and then check the days to maturity on your seed packet and count backward from your frost date. As daylight gets shorter though, plants grow a lot more slowly, so I always give myself about 2 extra weeks beyond what the seed packet says. I've learned over the years that I'd much rather give myself a little extra time than end up disappointed because I planted too late. Our ground doesn't actually freeze solid over the winter, so that means I get to leave carrots and beets right in the soil through the cooler months. and just harvest as I need them, and it's like a living root cellar. The biggest takeaway from this is that once the days get really short, growth slows way down to almost nothing, so whatever size the carrots have reached by then is close to what you're working with until they start to grow again in the spring. If you're in a colder climate and you're already too close to your first frost for carrots or beets, don't worry. You might just want to focus on quicker crops like baby greens or radishes instead. This is one of those places where I think it's really worth asking yourself what you'll actually be excited to harvest. If your family loves roasted carrots or fresh beets, they're absolutely worth making room for. They're one of those crops that reward a little patience, but if you're mostly hoping for quick wins before the seasons change, I'd spend that space on leafy greens instead. Neither choice is right or wrong, it just depends on what you'll actually enjoy harvesting over the next couple of months. Before we move on, I wanted to talk about green onions, which might be worth a try for you. If you plant them now, they'll get going before winter and you'll have some nice harvests. And they're so cold tolerant that you might even get some like really late into fall or winter, depending on your climate. But regardless, they'll come back in very early spring and you can start harvesting again. And if you harvest them as scallions, the plants will keep growing back. And they can also go to seed and they'll give you new plants that way when the seeds drop and regrow, or they multiply underground. So this is a really high value crop that is worth space and is just very low maintenance. The next thing I want to talk about is brassicas like broccoli. Here's the one thing to remember about planting broccoli for fall. The goal is to have the plant big and healthy and pretty much full size by the time cooler weather starts arriving, because shorter days and cooler temperatures encourage the plant to start forming the broccoli head. Just remember that same 2-week cushion we talked about with the root veggies. Also, the total days to maturity number covers the whole process and not just the leafy growing part. In my experience, it takes at least 5 weeks for the plant to reach full size, and then another 5 weeks or so before harvesting broccoli heads. Now this year, if I grow it, I want to try a faster growing variety, one that matures in about 65 days. And here in my Zone 8A garden, mid-August is about my last comfortable window for getting starter plants in the ground so that they have plenty of time to bulk up before fall arrives. Last year I had a lot of pressure from cabbage loopers, and those are those little green caterpillars that can eat a whole plant in a matter of hours. And with a busy few months coming up ahead of me, I'm not sure if I really feel like dealing with that. So strangely enough though, they didn't get my cabbage as much as my broccoli, so I may try that again. But honestly, this is exactly how I decide what makes the list each season. Just because something can be planted doesn't mean it has to earn a spot in my garden. Years ago, I probably would have planted it anyway because I felt like I was supposed to grow everything. And now I know that the best garden isn't the one with the most crops. It's the one that I can actually enjoy taking care of. So if a crop doesn't fit the time or energy I have this year, like perhaps broccoli, I don't feel guilty skipping it. Anyway, I think that is the real lesson that I've learned, that you don't have to grow everything just because you've grown it before. Some years the right move is matching the effort to what your life actually has room for, and that's not giving up, that's just building a garden that fits. So herbs may be a good fit for you because they're such easy, fast wins no matter what time of year it is. Basil, parsley, thyme, and oregano are plants that can all still go in the ground or in containers right now. And the beauty of herbs is that you can find healthy little starter plants at almost any farmer's market or garden center, so that you can skip the wait entirely with seeds and start snipping the same week you plant your little plants. Parsley especially holds up well through these next few months, and thyme and oregano are plants that once they're established, they'll come back for you in the spring and year after year. Chives will also come back, and I've got some growing in a grow bag right now. You can split these so easily every year to give you new free plants that you can plant in other containers. Mine have been going for years. If you're looking for something that's productive without asking for much in return, herbs are one of the best investments you can make. And honestly, I think they're one of the most overlooked things you can grow. I use fresh herbs constantly, and they give me a lot of value without asking for much space or maintenance. And with that, here are a couple of bonus summer foods you may still have time to plant if you're feeling that. You could plant quicker maturing things like bush beans or cucumbers in the very first part of August. And as long as you're counting on about 60 days to harvest before your first frost, you've got time for one more good crop before the season changes. But only plant them if a summer garden food is something that you're genuinely excited about at this point. When I'm deciding whether to squeeze in one more summer crop, I usually ask myself, would I rather enjoy one more harvest of summer vegetables or get a start on my fall garden? There's no wrong answer. I just like making that decision on purpose. If you're looking forward to fresh salads this fall or harvesting carrots, beets, or broccoli later in the season, I would give those crops the space instead. And if your beds still have some summer crops holding on, you don't have to wait for them to finish before starting your fall greens. I'll tuck lettuce or carrots into whatever corner is getting a little shade from the taller plants that are still producing. Interplanting is what farms use all the time, and there's no reason why we can't do the same thing in our own backyard. I think this is one of those ideas that makes gardening feel so much less overwhelming. Instead of ripping everything out and starting over, you're just letting one season kind of gently overlap with the next one. So even if you decide not to plant anything on this list this month, here's one thing that I would encourage you to start thinking about now. Garlic gets planted later in the fall, but August is the perfect time to order your seed garlic and then decide where it's going to go in your garden so you're not scrambling when planting season arrives. I'll put more information about that in the description. So what I've learned throughout the years is that fall gardening isn't all about squeezing in one more season or trying to grow everything. It's about choosing a few crops that fit your time, your space, and what you're actually going to enjoy harvesting. And I honestly think that that's what makes a garden sustainable, not by growing more, but by growing with intention. And every single thing we talked about today, the greens, the root veggies, a few broccoli plants, herbs, or even a round of beans or cucumbers can be grown in containers, so don't let a small space convince you that you've missed your chance. If today's video got you thinking about what you can still grow right now and you'd like me to personally help you grow your own fall garden food, the link is in the description and on the screen here for my 6-week fall gardening program. And garlic should be on your list because it's such an awesome and easy thing to get planted this fall. You really should give it a try if you haven't already. That video is right here.